Welcome back, guys. Well, we have finished off the supply stuff and tested it, so that is a good thing. Just having to wipe my face here. It's been stormy today, and the humidity is 100% practically. Not good for a Scottish person. But anyway, so we're going to carry on and we're going to have a look at the research info panel. Okay, so with that in mind, we're going to have to check two things here, because our research widget is not bringing back our values from a save game. This is research complete, so that's not the thing we're looking for. Okay, so we shall minimize that for now, and I'm not 100% research station. This is it. So our two issues are, we need some information in here, and we need to check for this when it's coming back. Okay, so it should be pulling it, get research, and we are getting the research requirements from the controller current research, which is correct, but for some reason when we restart the game it's not bringing this back. Okay, so in the first instance, let's just do a, well, we're not going to actually do a breakpoint on that, we're going to do a breakpoint on this. And see where that takes us. Now, we've got research requirements, so let's just take a look at the rest of this to see what we've got here. We've got current progress, we've got complete and process time, so we don't have an image or anything. So we are going to have a look at this. We are going to continue. Right. And we're going to have to take a look at the controller. Right. And we've got a current research here, and that current research is nothing. So from that point of view, we need to sort that out. Okay. Now, the interesting thing about this is that we do have a current research because this is researching. Okay, so we do have this saved somewhere. So if we basically pick this out, or in fact, if we go to the controller, go to here then we go to the controller, and we can check, and it is saved, but it's not returning it. But then again, we didn't save it. So what we're going to do in the meantime is we're going to start a new game. We are going to build a researcher. Then we're going to select our research. We're going to close that, and then we're going to save. Okay, we'll just do another little save just to be sure. And now, when we continue this, it should bring it back. So if we look at our controller, we do have this. So if we select this, it's going to get our controller, it's going to get this, it's going to get our name, replace it, go in here, probe 1, it's going to step over and resume. And there we go. So that's that issue solved. We are got on a loop so that it will update. Okay. So I think the best idea here is basically to copy one of the mining, either the mining or the, actually not the mining one, but one of the, let's see if we go to there, and if we look at the buildings menu, we should have one here called main game map power recipe. Is it in stats? No, I wouldn't have said so. So we are kind of looking for factory. And apparently we don't have it. So I'm not 100% sure where this is, but I'll tell you what we can do. We can look in building details. Okay, then we can go in here and we can look here. Okay, so this is actually in recipe. Doesn't kind of make sense, but we can move those around later. So we can duplicate this and we can see, call it research details. Okay, then we can open this up. We don't want to use this one actually. So we'll close that down. We probably want to use the mining details one. We don't want to do that actually. We want to do research details. So we want to use this one and duplicate it. And then this one is going to be called research details. Which is cool. So that's good. And then we want to open that up. And we basically just want to change all this stuff to whatever it is we're wanting to change it to. So we can say process time. We can have our current workers, right? We can have current percentage, or let's say, no, we'll not say, we'll say current progress. Right, and what we'll do is we shall delete this box here. So we've got process time, current progress, current workers. We can have overall efficiency, right, but there isn't really an over. Yeah, we can have that, right? Then we can have number of research stations. We're going to delete this. Yep. And we can basically delete that. Okay. So that's all well and good. And the next thing we can do is we can change our different variables to be the correct thing. So that's going to be progress. Workers, that can stay. That can stay. And then this one is going to be txt research stations. Okay. So that's good. It's basically going to totally screw up now, but hey ho. We're basically going to remove everything here. Okay. So that can go. So this can be researcher, or let's call it station. Okay, and that's going to be research station. Change those variables about. Not that the research station is going to give us a heck of a lot of information. It's basically only going to give us the workers. Everything else is going to be coming from somewhere else. But let's not worry about that for the moment. So if we pass this in, which is what we're going to do, we have to pass it into the research station. Right? So we're going to have to say, call this one station. And it's going to be a research station. So we shall save that, and then we'll go back to our research details, and we'll not call this station, we'll call it what it is, which is the parent. Okay. So that's all going to fail for now. So we have to go back to our research station. We have to go to our designer. Then we have to find out about this vertical box here. Okay. And this is going to be so we are basically going to be putting in here a widget research details. Okay, and there we go, looking good. So we can save that. We can go back to here. And actually, if we go back to our research station and we go to our graph, our station is going to be instance editable and expose on spawn. Okay. So when we actually click it, we're going to actually do something. So that is going to be in our base building. So if we go back to our base building, we can actually do that here. And this is going to be on the click me event, I believe, somewhere. It's here. Wait a minute. We don't actually need to do that. Or actually, yeah, we do. In this case, we do, because we don't have a reference to the actual warehouse at this point, or sorry, research station. So we need to know what the station is so we can get the workers for it. Okay. And right, okay, whatever. What we're going to go doing, what we're actually going to do here is we're going to go to our research station, and this isn't going to be a research station, it's going to be a base building. PP base building. Then we can save that and go back to here and put that. We're going to have to refresh this, I believe, and that goes in there. So if we go to our research details, right, the first thing we're going to do is bring in our parent, and we've got a building here which is base building, which is fine. So we get station, right, hang on a second here, that's not right. So research station, we've got the station which is a BP base building, which is fine. Right, okay. So we can go into here and I think we can just do get parent here. If we just do get parent, right, we can just say station. Okay. So that's not what we're doing here. So that's the research station and not the actual parent widget. Widget. Now, yeah, it would have to be. Then we probably have to cast to W. Okay, so we're not doing that. Right, why have I screwed this up so much? Right, there's another way we can do this, right? Which will make a bit more sense. If we go back to our research station widget, right, and we go to designer, then we do that, and we say VB details, and we save that, right? So we've got the graph here, and on event construct it does all that stuff, and in here the parent is not that. Okay, the parent is a W research station. Which is probably half the bleeding problem for the details here. But anyway, so this is update widget, so we can leave that there. So in here we are setting timer, and what we'll do is we'll create widget, and we're going to do research details. Oh, that's the wrong one. Research details, and refresh node. And the building is this, and we should be doing right, we'll save that for now. The research details should be a parent. Save that. Refresh this. And this is a reference to self. Oh, we'll pass that in there. Then the next thing we do is with our VB details, we get that. Then we add child to vertical box. Okay. Then we can do that. Save that. Now, if everything has, right, so everything's compiled, but this isn't doing anything at the moment, but that's okay. We're cool with that for now. So we can stop that, press play, continue, and make sure this is actually doing what it's supposed to do at this point. It should bring us in not the values, but it should bring in the right stuff. And there we go. For some reason it's putting it here as well, no idea why. But there you go. So in one essence that's looking okay, in the other it isn't. It's because we put it in the wrong place. So this shouldn't be called VB details. We'll just call this VB main, and then this one should be called VB details. And save that. So that should be right this time. So if we continue that, how is everybody in this fine Friday night? I know at this point I'm talking to myself, but it can be therapeutic. And for some reason it's putting it in here. No idea why, but there we go. So this is the horizontal box. We've got VB details here. Then we've got VB main here. Now, I don't know why it's doing that. It's because I changed the name and it automatically updated it here. So it should actually be this one. Right. Now my query is going to be, and this is where we're going to have to amend it, I think what's going to happen here is it's going to, actually it didn't. I'm quite impressed with that actually. Right, so we shall stop that for now. And then what we can do is we can work on the actual details now. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete pretty much everything. That's event construct. That's on the update. So first thing we do, process time, right? And we set text. In fact, we're going to be doing this for all of these. That was the one thing I didn't want to drag, and that's the one thing I did drag, which is awesome. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to delete this so we can duplicate them and then duplicate one more, and so process time, let's have a look at the order of these. Got process time, current progress, got progress, we've got workers, then we have efficiency, then stations. We have efficiency, and we have stations. Okay, this one's going to be easy. All we need to do is say get all actors of class, then it's going to be research station, and then length, that can go in there. And that's basically it for our, well, we do need to do this though. So what we'll do is we shall drag that up there, to there, to there. Then this will go here. And we'll drag that out a little bit. Okay. So that's our first one done. Now, what else have we got here? I think we can, on event construct, okay, we're going to add another variable here. And it's going to be controller. We're going to need the player controller here because the player controller can actually return us back the percentage completion of the current research. So that's what we want. So we're going to say player controller, get player controller. Then we're going to cast to FE controller, and then our thing's going to plug into here. Yeah, we need to change this to FE controller. So FE controller. And now we've got that done, we should be able to plug it in here. And we should be able to change this to here and this to here. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to say controller research. Oh, don't know what happened there. We're going to drag that out and do a get. Then we're going to do research return research progress. Okay. And that is going to give us our progress. And it's a percentage as a float. So to int, so we're going to float it, and then we're going to do an append, then we're going to say that, and then we're going to say to so we're going to do that. And then we're going to say %. And then this is going to go in here. So we'll tidy this all up in a second. Right. So we're going to do this. We're going to do this and this. Then we're going to do that and that. Right, we'll drag that over to here. So the next point is the processing time. So what we can do is again get the controller right, and current, we're going to get the current research. Right, that's not probably what we want. So if we check the controller, struct current research, okay. So we get the struct current research. Whoops, double clicked on that by mistake, but no harm done. Then we can break this. And we can get the process time. And we can actually do that. We can append that, but we'll say S this time. So is this a float again? Yeah. So we basically want to do this again. Then this goes into here, and then this goes into here. We can move this across. Then this can go up here, I suppose. We can move this up here. Then we can grab all these and align right. And that's that one done. So now that that one's done, we can move it into place once we move these down a bit. Right. And we know that this one's done, so we can move that into place. And now we want the building so we're going to do that, get the building, right? Then we're going to cast it cast to research station. Then we're going to get the worker comp. Okay. Getting the worker component. That's going to go here. We're going to move this across. And we're going to use this to actually fill in the next two. To use fill in this one plus this one. That is maybe going to change, but we'll work on it anyway. So our worker comp, we're going to say current, it's got current input, current output, so that's not what we want. So we're going to have to look at our components, and the components are in worker, right? And we've got struct worker and individual workers. So we want the struct worker, okay? So we want the struct worker. Then we want to break it. And then we want the current workers. Okay. We can hide the disconnected, the unconnected. Actually, we're going to use this, remember? So we're going to now do to float. And the same thing there. Yep. So we're going to get them. Then we're going to divide them. Then we're going to multiply by 100. And then we're going to do all of our this crap here. Okay. So then we're going to paste that. We plug that in there. And then we basically plug this in here for efficiency. Okay, we'll move this across a bit to give us space. We shall move this up a bit into place. Do that. Then we shall move this into place. It's a bit too low. Move that into there. Can drag that up a bit, and we can drag this all out a bit to here, and we can move all of this up to get a bit closer, and that should be it. Okay. And on our update, okay, so we're going to set timer by function, and we're going to say update details. Then we're going to copy that. Then we're going to create a custom event. That's going to paste. We'll run that every 5 seconds. Let's see. And there's only certain ones we're going to update here, right? Right, so first things, do we update the process time? No. Do we update the progress? Yes, we do. So we can grab that. We'll delete this. We shall move this down a little bit. Got all the space in the world for this one. We didn't want to do that. Right, we've lost where we are. There we are. Right, so we can plug that in. So we do the progress. We can do the worker and this one. And the last one is probably not relevant. Right, so we'll grab that. We'll copy it. And we'll paste it. Save that. And let's see how it goes, shall we? So we shall press play, continue, wait till this one activates. Current progress 0, current workers 10%. Excellent. Right, so our question has to be, if we create another station, I am very interested to see, we've got 2, close that, perfect. Perfect. And with that, guys, I'm going to do a save all. And then we're going to have a 2-minute break. And we shall be back in a moment. Don't go anywhere, guys. I'll be literally 2 minutes. Okay guys, we're back, and let's just get this all switched over. Right, so that is all working, and the last thing we need to check on this is if it's updating or not, and we can do that quite simply by hitting L a few times, which adds workers to the buildings as a little testing scenario. Then we can see that we have 5 workers. Our efficiency is at 50%. This calculation is going to be changed at some point because it's going to take into account what level of research station it is. And what we can do now is hit L a couple more times, and then we should see these two numbers change within 5 seconds. Except they're not. Okay. So are we calling that? Update details, 5 seconds looping. Should be right. So that's breakpoint. Progress shouldn't have changed. This should have changed. So add breakpoint, resume. This value is 5. We'll resume this. Right, okay. I understand this. It's because we're going to disable this breakpoint and disable this. I'm going to leave this in, but I could really take this out because you won't really be able to add workers unless you're not in this screen, right? So if I close that and then I add workers, so let's add 2, so this should now show 7, and you can see there that it does, right? Which is exactly what we want. Right, but you obviously can't add workers when you're looking at this, so in effect that works perfectly fine. Okay, so all in all, everything's working pretty much. And we need to really work on something else now. So any guys in the chat want to see me work on something else? Any ideas for what that should be? I've really got that done quite quickly and basically no errors. So, or if you guys are new to the stream, do you want to see the game and how it works, etc.? Let me know in the chat. You don't need to say much, just say a please show us or something of that nature. Otherwise, we're going to have a look at something else. Now, I don't know what that is yet. So, let's have a think about this. We could start having a think about power. Right? We could. That's not to say we should. I'm just saying we could. Or let's have a look at something else, right? Now, our probes are working, but those have to really take over from something else. our grid is working, our conveyors are working, but we have to now probably have a real look at our splitters and stuff, because those have went really out of line with everything else as far as I'm aware. So we're going to have to check up on them. Vehicles might actually never exist in the game per se, or certainly not ones that you can create. And other than that, we just need more like weapons and more product. So we need to actually generate more products and think about the way we're going to do it. Now, one of the ways that we might do it is if we do it in reverse. So, like, for example, if this gun here, right, is the end goal, let's say, of what you can make, then we need to work back from this. Okay? So, with that in mind, probably what we want is bullets. Right? We would start off with ordinary metal bullets. Then our research would take us all the way up to, let's say, lasers and missiles, guided missiles or something like that, right? But the point being that we could work our way back. Okay. Now, the other thing that I actually thought of was, rather than have like a warehouse, we should just really have a storage container of some description. Which would just have one input, one output, and it would basically not process, right? So what we could do is like, well, we'd need to go to maps. Right, so give me a second to get to the maps. So we can save selected. And just for a giggle, we can use a cube. Well, actually, what we could do in reality is create a blueprint. So we can go to buildings, right? And effectively, we could duplicate our warehouse. right? We could rename it to BP storage. And this would actually begin to make a bit more sense if we did this. So wait a minute. Is it going to be... No, it's not. This is actually not going to be the best representation of it. Just your basic refiner is probably the better representation of it, right? Because all I need to do is take away the building, redo the mesh, and then take away the processing parts, right? And that'll be about it, or at least that's the plan, right? So what we'll do is we'll duplicate a refiner, right? We'll call it storage. Okay, we can have a look at the viewport here, right? And we've got the building mesh, the platform mesh, but what we can do is we can undo that, right? And everything else would be okay. I would need to move them around a bit. We would remove this. Okay, but we've got position in, position out. There's not going to be a worker. Right? Now, I suppose in this case, what we could do is delete it after the fact. We're going to have a comp input, comp output, so that's all fine. We are going to have a different information page on it, but in theory, okay. So why are you getting upset? Alright, let's check the refiner on this one. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go to the refiner. And that's on the refiner. And that's actually not there. That's on the comp input or output. Actually, this is on process. So this can go anyway, because that is actually not anything. cast to output item. I'm not 100% sure why that one isn't. Ah, that's okay. It's this one that's the issue. And the activate, deactivate aren't necessary. Okay, so all of this stays the same. The only thing we don't do is we don't set up any of this. We can basically remove all this stuff. We're not going to have dynamic materials. So, oh yeah, we are. Yes, we are, because those are for the arrows going in and out. So we can leave that stuff. Okay. Set process is not going to get done. On clicked will. That one will. But this process is not going to get done. And the actual input output is going to be the same. Well, it's going to come in the input and then get swapped straight over to the output. But if the output isn't connected up to anything, it's not going to do anything. Okay. So it's not going to need it's going to need these ones, but it's not going to need these ones. It is going to need that one, but it's not going to need these two. Okay, so we can probably remove these. It's not going to do any of that stuff. Okay. And we'll connect. Oops. This destroy all is going to have to change. We wrote a new one for the miner, but it's going to have to be updated for the other buildings because I've got to delete all the output stuff that are on the splines as well and do all that stuff. So we're going to have to take it from there. Right, so basically what we're looking at here is we can remove this set process. Right, everything else is cool. And this is just going to be kind of like a spliner. In fact, a splitter, except it doesn't split. And that's about the tall and the short of it. And on that point, guys, we've kind of done what we wanted to do tonight, so I'm going to wrap it up early and maybe work on a model or something for this. So if you've watched the stream, thank you for joining. Hit the subscribe button, check out the description for the Discord, Patreon and my previous game on Steam. And have a lovely weekend, and I shall see you tomorrow, 2 PM Central, as usual. Bye bye for now.